Let us stand, and someone like to lead us in prayer from the audience. Okay, Mr. Blue. Thank you.
Yeah, Father, we just want to thank you for this evening, God. Thank you, God, for allowing us to see another day. We ask you, Lord, that you help us to have an excellent meeting on tonight. Help us to make the right decisions for us everyone in the room tonight. In Jesus' name, we pray.
Amen. Thank you. I will pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, this meeting has been called to order. And before we get started, just for the record, just wanted to acknowledge the participants present. Here in the district office, we have board members, Carol Gibson, Bart Alford, and Reggie Daniels, and virtually, board members Susie Williamson and Sharetta Bell. Also present in the district office is Board Attorney Mr. Reeves, Ms. Becky Bishop, Tim Ginn, Mr. Travis Blue, Mr. Isaac Goyette, and the Superintendent Shirley Joseph. At this time, we will call our attention to item 2, the amendments to the agenda. I have 3 amendments to the agenda. Permission to advertise the Code of Student Conduct, the appointment of advocacy representative, and the reconditioned cooling towers at the Madison County High School. We'll pull.
Look at your agenda on your.
The paper one is one behind. You got 4 on the.
Okay, yeah. One more.
The 2.3.
2.3, the interlocal agreement with Madison County. Okay, and let's see. 2.1, permission to advertise will be pulled down to 5.1A. The appointment of advocacy representative, 5.1B. The interlocal agreement with Madison County, 5.1C. And the reconditioned cooling towers will be pulled down to 5.2A by Mr. Ginn. All right. Public comment. Do we have anybody? Okay. For the record, no public comment. Consent agenda items. Do we have a motion to approve?
I move to
I'll
approve.
make the motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Okay.
Second.
All right. I have a motion by Ms. Williamson, seconded by Ms. Gibson. There'll be a need for discussion. All in favor? Ms. Gibson?
Approve.
Mr. Alford?
Approve.
Ms. Williamson?
Approve.
Ms. Bell?
Approve.
And I also approve 5-0. Consent agenda items have been adopted. Items for individual consideration, staff travel, general fund, 5.1. Ms. Joseph.
Okay, this is our trip. I know DOE and everyone that says no travel, all our meetings will be virtually, but this is a safety meeting, and they said that they will meet in person, and this is a required meeting for Mr. Killingsworth. And so, and it is being hosted by the state. They're meeting in small pods, but all the safety officers over the state will be attending.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
I make the motion to approve the travel.
All right.
Second.
All right, have a motion and second. Need for discussion? All in favor? Ms. Gibson?
Approve.
Mr. Alford?
Approve.
Ms. Williamson?
Approve.
Ms. Bell?
Approve.
And I also approve 5-0. Motion adopted. 5.1A, permission to advertise, the Code of Student Conduct.
Okay, Mr. Chair, this is something, Mr. Killsworth is not here, so I'm speaking on his behalf, something that we do every year. We have vetted that with all the school administrators, and we've got to advertise it for 30 days before it becomes final, and for us to have time to print it, we need to go on and approve it now to advertise. We will have a hearing at the end of the 30 days or 28 days before it becomes official, and then we can print it.
Okay, do we have a motion to grant permission to advertise?
I move to grant permission to advertise the student code of conduct.
Okay,
Second.
all right, I have a motion by Ms. Gibson, I think second by Ms. Bell. Will there be a need for discussion? All in favor, Ms. Gibson?
Approve.
Mr. Alford?
Approve.
Ms. Williamson?
Approve.
Ms. Bell?
Approve.
And I also approve 5-0, motion carried. 5.1B, appointment of advocacy representative.
Okay, they've changed the name on this, but all of y'all are familiar with this. This is your legislative representative, and last year, Mr. Daniels held that position. So among yourselves, one of you have to volunteer or be appointed to fill that position for a year.
Okay, do we have a volunteer?
I mean, I don't mind doing it if no one else wants to do it. I mean, if,
Okay.
Well, I'm the FISBIT representative in the chamber, so I thought I'd let someone else do it if they wanted to.
Miss,
Ms. Williamson and Ms. Bell, did y'all hear that discussion?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
We did.
Okay. Are we in agreement?
if they want to do it, one of them can do it if they'd like to do it.
I'll be glad for Mark to do that
They volunteered you.
and appreciate it.
Okay. All right. The board attorney advised we should state that, our position in the form of a motion.
I'll make the motion to appoint Mr. Alford to be our representative and the legislative representative.
Second.
Okay? Properly moved in second. Would there be a need for discussion? All in favor?
Approve.
Mr. Alford?
Approve.
Williamson?
Approve.
Ms. Bell?
Approve.
Also approved, 5-0. Motion carried. 5.1C, interlocal agreement with Madison County. Ms. Joseph.
Okay, I want to start that, but Mr. Attorney Reeves will carry
Okay.
on that.
Okay. Mr. Reed.
It's that, Mr. Reeves, go for it.
Okay.
Just go for it.
The interlocal agreement is between the school board and the county. And as you know, under the Florida law, the school board is required to make the school facilities available in times of emergencies. So in other words, when there's a hurricane, we are required to make the school facilities available like we've done in the past. What the interlocal agreement, and we've had these in the past, but this gives a procedure about how we do that, and the county emergency management director calls the superintendent, and they talk, and how that works mechanically. Now, what's different with this one that from the previous ones is that now what happens is the school board sends invoices to the county sends it to FEMA, and that's how all the reimbursement goes. What this one, and the law has changed, and what the law now allows is for the school board to send its own invoices to FEMA. And so that's kind of how this does. Now, when we talk about sending invoices to FEMA, obviously, you're still going to want the emergency management director to help. They're the ones that know how to deal with FEMA, and, and that can be a real trick in getting that done. But anyway, that's the change here. is that, that the statutory change allows the county and the school board to decide among themselves who's going to do that. And I think the emergency management director and superintendent got together and decided that they'd like to go ahead and do it where the school board submits it to FEMA. And so that's how this is drafted.
And it will save a lot of time because, for Michael, y'all remember Michael 2 years ago? We did not settle that until this 1920 school year. All outstanding debt, it was this year before we finally closed the book on that. And it will streamline some of the things that, some of the procedures.
And the other thing is, as we, there's a lot of things you can do to prepare for that, and when I say prepare, I mean specifically for reimbursement. Like FEMA a lot of times wants to make sure that you have the proper salary schedules that say in an emergency, our folks will be paid blank. They want to make sure you have that schedule before they reimburse you. It's those kinds of things that can be prepared for and to make that reimbursement go a lot quicker. And
Yes.
That's where I think the emergency management can help. But anyway, the interlocal agreement says that we're going to submit our own. The school board's not required to do it that way, but that's how the emergency management director and the superintendent got together and decided that's how they thought they would like to do it.
I'd like to have my memory refreshed a little bit. It seems as though, and I'm not sure, I'm thinking Fisbit came and gave us a little presentation about, in case of an emergency, that they would be contacting the different people to help us out.
Okay,
that-
where Fisbit part comes in, Fisbit would be acting as an insurance agent, and if we had any catastrophes, any destruction, they will come in and take care of that. We're taking care of our people and manning the shelter.
Okay,
Now,
so this
if a
is-
building fell
right.
down,
It's a different-
or we needed, that's where Fisbit would come in.
Right, okay, I just wanted to
Okay.
clarify that, yes.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion to approve the interlocal agreement?
I move to approve the interlocal agreement.
Okay,
Second.
all right, have a motion and a second. Do we have, there be a need for discussion? All in favor? Ms.
Approve.
Gibson?
Approve.
Mr. Alford?
Approve.
Ms. Williamson?
Approve.
Ms. Bell?
Approve.
And I also approve, 5-0, motion carried. 5.2, approval of fuel bid for 2021 school year. Mr. Ginn.
Good evening, members of the board.
Good evening.
Tonight I'm presenting to you, I sent out 3 bid packs requesting bids for fuel usage for the 2021 school year. I got 1 bid back. The other 2 chose not to bid. So it's my suggestion, or my recommendation, that we go with the bid that we got. It's pretty much the same as we had last year, so.
Okay. Ms. Williamson and Ms. Bell, could y'all hear?
I did.
Okay, all right.
Yes,
Just-
sir, I did.
Okay, just wanted to be sure. Okay, after hearing from Mr. Ginn, what shall we hear? Do we have a motion?
I make the motion to approve J&J Strong for the fuel bid for the 2021 school year.
Second.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and second. There'll be a need for discussion. All in favor? Ms. Gibson?
Approve.
Mr. Alford?
Approve.
Ms. Williamson?
Approve.
Ms. Bell?
Approve.
And I also approve, 5-0, motion carried. All right, 5.2A, reconditioned cooling tower. Mr. Ginn.
The cooling towers out at the high school are operating right now at about 50% capacity because of they're 20 years old. Over the 20 years, you slowly get a mineral buildup on the inside of those towers from the lovely water that we have around here, the iron and calcium, and it's just the natural occurrence that happens. We have a water treatment plan in place. which has allowed us to go the 20 years. Normally, from what I understand from these companies, we're usually faced with this about every 15 years. So it bought us about 5 extra years doing this. What is involved in this, you have to go in there. The top of those towers is like honeycomb that the water falls down through, and then water is blown through that honeycomb and cools that water, which in turn cools the chillers that provide the HVAC or the cooling for the high school. If we don't have these cooling towers, we don't have HVAC at the high school at all. So I apologize for it being last minute. I just got these figures in this past weekend. The urgency of it is there's a 4 to 6 week lead time on the parts. So being able to get it in this summer, which after they get through, we'll pretty much we'll have a brand new set of cooling towers sitting there. So we should be good for another 20 years. And I got the one bid from Engineered Cooling, the 53,000 and some change. And I said, no, I didn't see that much work there, so I went shopping. And I contacted 3 other companies. This other company chose to give me a quote. If you look at the first, it'll be the one that it says base scope of work, replace the heat transfer field media and drift eliminators. Right? You know, look at the top figure on these things because we don't pay the taxes. So we're looking at the $23,794. And then the second part of that is down here about midway to the page is the $49.98. That's only in case if they get in there and the coating on the inside of the tower starts to deteriorate or has deteriorated, they have to do the recoating. If it don't, we won't have to spend that money. The other part is in the next quote is the $44.62. That is to replace the louvers. It's all the way around the towers that it pulls the air through. They're about halfway stopped up also. So my suggestion, at worst scenario, we're looking at $33,154. Best case scenario is $28,256. So hopefully that coating on the inside of the tower is in good shape. We don't have to spend that extra money to have that part of it fixed. So,
Now, what's our source of funding?
source of funding is going to be LCIS money. So
And then the other bid was the 53,000.
yeah, it was for 53,000.
That's a big-
You know, there's a big difference there. We're at a savings of about $20,000. So,
Thank you for checking into that.
yes.
Okay. Will there be any questions for Mr. Ginn before or do we have a motion?
I
To
think
go with-
it's a necessity, you know,
Okay.
it's, you can't go without AC,
Amen.
not in our buildings.
I agree. Do we
Not
have a
anywhere.
motion to go with,
I want to go with the CT/HX quote. At that worst scenario, it'd be $33,154. We could end up with less than that, but that's at worst case scenario there.
okay? Do we have a motion to go with that recommended bid?
I make the motion to approve the CTHX bid.
Second, and good shopping around, Tim.
Thank you.
All right, I have a motion and second. Would there be a need for discussion? All in favor? Ms. Gibson?
Approve.
Mr. Alford?
Approve.
Ms. Williamson?
Approve.
Ms. Bell?
Approve.
And also approved, 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Ginn.
Thank y'all.
Thank you very
I'll
much.
get that, make that happen.
Yes, sir. All right, 5.3, contract for Madison Creative Arts Academy. Ms. Joseph.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, it's time again for Madison Creative Arts Academy to renew their charter. And basically, it's the same as two major differences in this charter. Because of their grade and performance of recent years, they are now deemed a high-performing school. With a high-performing school, they are allowed to ask for a 15-year contract instead of a 5-year contract, and that's noted on page 3. And also, being open, they are planning on a new facilities, and so page 29, they note that later on, before the end of this contract, they hope to have a new facility located at a different address. Our attorney have looked at this contract, and so everything's in order. So I move for approval, granting them their 15-year contract.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I don't move it, I suggest it.
The contract you have there, the way these works with charter schools, the DOE does a standard contract. And then that standard contract, when they provide us a contract for us to review, they provide a red line version. So they start with that standard contract, and then whatever they change is in red line. The only thing that I think, and in my packet, the only thing that is changed is basically the name and, you know, those types of things. I think otherwise it's just the standard contract.
Standard contract.
From that. Now, this is a 15-year contract. Normally, these charters have 5-year contracts. Now, the reason the legislature allows them to get a 15-year contract in some circumstances is if they're going to go try to build a facility or and all of that, they have to borrow money from a lending institution. Well, a lending institution, when you go to borrow the money, if you only have a 5-year charter, they don't know that you can pay the money back. And that's why all that's set up. So I'm assuming that one of the impetus for getting this 15-year contract is because they're trying to do their trying to get a new facility. But irregardless, it's my understanding that they
Because they're
qualify as the
high
high
performing, they
performance.
qualify for
I haven't looked at that part of it.
Yes.
That they do qualify, and so then they would be entitled to it. Now, I don't think their 5-year charter wouldn't be up right now, right? I think are we a year or so early, or is it 5 years?
I think they have another year or so on their 5-year contract.
So that's another thing, but I don't think that's a good, you know, that means you can't grant it, but it would not otherwise be up, but it's part of their plans to expand.
Okay. Well, I'll make the motion to approve their contract because they are eligible for that 15-year contract.
Second.
Okay, have a motion by Ms. Williamson, second by Ms. Gibson. There'll be a need for discussion. All in favor, Ms. Gibson?
Approve.
Mr. Alford?
Approve.
Ms. Williamson?
Approve.
Ms. Bell?
Approve.
And also approve 5-0. Motion carried. Contract approved. All right, 5.4, Dr. Blue.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing good this evening. I ask Brother Chair and Board that we approve 5.4 personnel changes at this time.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the personnel changes?
I move to approve.
motion to approve the personnel changes.
Okay. We have-
Second.
All right, and I have a motion and second. Need for discussion. All in favor, Ms. Gibson?
Approve.
Mr. Alford?
Approve.
Ms. Williamson?
Approve.
Ms. Bell?
Approve.
And I also approve 5-0. Personnel changes have been adopted.
Thank you.
Okay. 5.5, staffing table.
No changes at this time, Brother Chair.
Okay, for the record, no changes to the staffing table at this time. 5.6, staffing allocation plan.
Yes, I ask Brother Chair and Board that we approve item 5.6 at this time.
Okay, 5.6, our staffing plan. I just need to note that I have discussed with the board members individually the major changes and within our staffing plan.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the staffing allocation plan?
I move to approve the staffing allocation plan.
Second.
All right. Motion and second. We need for discussion. All in favor? Ms. Gibson?
Approve.
Mr. Alford?
Approve.
Ms. Williamson?
Approve.
Ms. Bell?
Approve.
And also approve 5-0. Staffing allocation plan has been accepted and adopted.
Thank you.
So much. 5.7, monthly financial report. Ms. Joseph.
Okay. Again, I need to thank Ms. Floyd for helping me for preparing these reports. And I just need to make note on that first one, which is Fund 100, which is our general fund. That's the fund we definitely have to watch carefully. And at the top part of these reports talks about your revenue, how much money you brought in, and the bottom part talks about your spending. We know there's 12 months in a year, and if you do equal spending, you're spending about 8.3% of your budget per month. Okay, this is the May report, and so you should be about 92% spending in income. And if we look at the income, we received our 12% of our income. Now, for expenditures, we're doing good because we've only spent 83. We're less than that 93, but we needed that buffer because in June, actually, we clean up, do a lot of cleanup, a lot of big bills. So we have that buffer in there so we don't overspend in our general fund. So that's why we don't spend everything we make. And so that's pretty good. The next one is your debt services. Those bills come in at the same time at the end of the year. So in June, we got a lot of big bills to pay. And so it won't look as pretty at the end of June. Food services, because we had the summer, we had that COVID feeding program, we had a lot of excess funds in food services. We don't have a lot of excess funds. We still have money there. We've been spending a little more than we've been taking in, but that's okay, because we had it to do. I hadn't got the dynamics of it, the specifics of it yet, but you're only supposed to carry over so much, and so she was a little heavy, but she's doing good. The next one is your federal programs. They're doing good. And the last part, Ms. Ely provided, y'all wanted these warrant registers. She's provided a warrant register, and she did something else. That's your warrant register for the month of May that she's provided for us. And those are your financials for the month of May. Do I have any questions that I can answer?
Any questions for Ms. Joseph on the financials? All right, do we have a motion to approve the financial report?
I'll make the motion to approve the financial report.
Second.
All right, would there be need for discussion? All in favor, Ms. Gibson,
Approve.
Mr. Alford,
Approve.
Ms. Williamson,
Approve.
Ms. Bell,
Approve.
and I also approve 5-0. Financial report has been approved and adopted. All right. Superintendent items.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I have a couple of items I want to talk about. One thing we do know, in Florida, you have unions, and Dr. Blue has been in contact with Miss Colette Hicks, Jamie Hicks, she's our union president, and they're gonna make plans to start negotiations soon. I don't know what we're gonna be negotiating, but we're gonna have a pre-conversation to talk with her about, we do know they wanna come to the table and negotiate. And the governor still have not signed the education budget. I'm gonna tell you about some funds we've got, but the original budget that we have out of Tallahassee, that has not been signed yet. They've been talking about reconvening and redoing that, and so we don't know where we are with that. Last week, I met with the sheriff and a couple of his representatives. We did review the SRO contract for next year, so this year, and I'll need to get that to you before I sign it, we're not just blanket signing all contracts again because they need to be reviewed before we sign them, and so I've done that one. I've got some good news. Yesterday when I was reading my email, we were awarded a $50,000 grant from No Kids Hungry. And so, yes, this is for the food service department. And she's used those funds to help some of that feeding that we were doing during the shutdown, because yes, we're used to feeding people, the students and the kids, and on campus, but we were having to take it to different sites. We needed some coolers and different things, and we needed different kinds of food, and food was hard to get, and so some of the food we were having to get weren't on contract, but we were able to get that. I thought maybe we couldn't spend $50,000, but she's been totaling her receipts, and right now, she's spent $63,000, but that was a nice welcome. Another thing that happened, we're getting dollars in. Where we're gonna spend them, I can't tell you right now, because as you know, during the summer, we have abbreviated work weeks. We are not on site. We work all the time. We're not on site on Fridays. And but Tallahassee works on Friday. Tallahassee sends out emails on Fridays. Tallahassee has a webinar on Fridays, and they don't tell you until Friday morning. The state finally released the CARES money to the different other districts that didn't get them. For Madison County, we have been allotted for the CARES package, $1,023,714.01. Okay, for the summer recovery toolkit, we have been awarded $94,512. The district administrators will be meeting Wednesday to look at the specifications of how to spend this, and we will be coming up with a budget to spend this, to use these funds. We know, we don't need to get that happy because we know our original budget is gonna be cut, and we're gonna need to know. So it's not saying we got $1 million extra dollars. It says we've got $1 million, we don't know how much we're gonna be cut. There's been speculation, 10%, 15%, or 20%. If we cut 20%, this is not gonna replace that. And we still are gonna have to buy supplies, the things to prepare for the CDC guidelines. We still gotta do that. Now, one other thing I need to talk about is hot on everybody's mind. The other week, the governor made the announcement that in August, we will resume school as usual. Okay, with some district input. And so what we have been doing, last time I told you that I would be meeting with some representatives from each school, and that following Tuesday, I had 2 representatives from each school, and they're chairing the meeting, and they're talking about some plans for us to devise a return to school plan. One of the things that has come out of that so far, we have a survey out on the web, Peach Jar, and different places. We've got a survey about returning to school. We will be devising a plan. I don't have the specifics for it because we're going to be meeting tomorrow, and I want to hear from the public. I don't want districts to put out a plan and not them. And so they will be meeting tomorrow, and we'll start meshing our ideas together. But what I want to do is at the next meeting, present something to the board on our return to school plan. It may not be complete, but we will present something for you. And in our plan, we will look at all facets. We understand people have medical conditions. We're cognizant of that, and we will respect that. And that's all I have for my comments.
Okay. Mr. Reeves.
No, sir, not
Yeah,
unless you have
okay.
questions of me.
All right, Ms. Gibson.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Joseph, for that good news. Like, as we know, we're not on easy street, but it's good to know that we have a little extra coming in. I'd like to thank the citizens of District 2 and Madison County for placing their trust in me during the last 4 years. It's an honor and a privilege to serve on the Madison County School Board. Your support and confidence in me means so much, and it's much appreciated. I look forward to serving the children, the employees, the parents, and the taxpayers for another 4 years. Thank you so much.
All right, Mr. Alford.
I don't have anything.
Okay, Ms. Williamson.
Yes, I'd like to thank Ms. Joseph and Ms. Floyd for the extra that they've been doing to help out with the budget. And also thank Ms. Joseph for how much she reaches out to each one of us to keep us informed, even though we're not always physically able to be present there. And I appreciate them, and I am so proud that we've been able to fill some of our positions with good qualified people.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Bell.
No, sir, I don't have anything.
Okay, and also, I'm thankful for the grant and the additional funds, because as the superintendent stated earlier, we don't know what's coming down the pipe, so it's good to have at least something, just in case, as a buffer, so we appreciate that. And thank everybody for a job well done. And with that, we'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, Ms. Gibson,
Approve.
Mr. Alford,
Approve.
Ms. Williamson,
Approve?
Ms. Bell,
Approved.
and I also approve. Meeting adjourned.